The Fantasy Footballer Studio is sponsored by Walmart. Welcome to the Fantasy Footballers Podcast with your hosts, Andy Holloway, Jason Moore, and Mike Wright.
Oh, welcome in.
What, you wanted a My Guy?
Yeah, of course I wanted a My Guy time. Of course I wanted it. Because you know what? It's My Guy time.
Yes,
Yeah,
it is.
see there. That's fine.
All right.
That's fine.
I'm the captain now.
Friday, August 15th, the Fantasy Footballers. It's a
You write a song.
It's a My
Do you
Guy
want to have your own lyrics?
episode. Welcome in. We're doing well today. We're
Oh,
doing great.
yes.
This is a big day. It's a one of one. It's the My Guy show. It is the 11th My Guy show. According to Kyle, if you count the Dante Pettis pivot, this will
Legendary
give us 100 My Guys all time.
Okay.
Then we count it.
So we're going to count it, the 5 days of Dante Pettis or whatever it was. But today we'll be revealing our three My Guys, the flag plants for the 2025 season, the players that we are most excited about that represent a player that we fundamentally believe in their talent, what they represent in your fantasy football drafts. It is Friday, August 15th. You never know what wild cards are coming down the way, but we're going to reveal them here on the show today. There's been a lot of predictions out there. I know you two both put a post up that was people trying to guess them. Did anybody nail it? Did anybody get the three names on your list?
I did not. Yeah, I haven't gone back after the first few hundred, but I did not see one in the first few hundred that nailed all three.
Mike, did you have anybody that got
I
close?
have not, but I'm gonna run this thing through and see if I'll double check it right now. But I haven't seen a 3 for 3 yet.
All right, so we'll get into that very shortly. Start revealing the My Guys for 2025. We've got some news. We got to cover. It was breaking yesterday, right when the show released, about Rashee Rice. We'll talk about that shortly. We've got time for some mailbag potentially today. We've got the UDK for Life giveaway. It's Friday, which means we want to remind you the live stream is Monday, so your opportunity to pick up the UDK before the giveaway is, we're almost out of time here. Monday afternoon, we'll be doing a live stream event, answering more questions and giving away an Ultimate Draft Kit for life, as well as a signed Jamar Chase jersey. So the way you win that, go to ultimatedraftkit.com. Make sure you have picked it up. If you've already bought it, if you're already an Ultimate member, you're already entered to win.
Yeah, if you're in the Ultimate Foot Clan subscription, which comes with the UDK, you are automatically, if you did this, last year and you're signed up, you are in the running for it forever.
All right, let's jump right into that news.
News and notes from around the league, presented by Progressive Insurance.
Well, we did the mock draft show. We talked about Rashee Rice later in the episode. We talked about him going in the 8th round and whether that was a good place for him to go in light of a suspension that is on the way. At that time, the assumption, like Jordan Addison, was that the suspension would occur before the season began, and it would be anywhere from 2 to 8 games. We got word yesterday morning that from Adam Schefter and others, Rashee Rice's disciplinary hearing is now scheduled for September 30th. So that means there's a lot of games before September 30th. He's likely to play the first 4 weeks of the season. The Chiefs play against the Chargers in week 1, then Philadelphia, then on the road against the Giants, and then Baltimore. It's a gauntlet for those first 4 weeks. Every expectation on the draft cost of Rashee Rice was based on, hey, at some point, I'll just get him back, and then I'll have him for the fantasy playoffs and for the stretch run, and he represents, you made the case yesterday, or 2 days ago on the mock draft. That was yesterday.
Yeah.
You made the case that, the reason you're willing to spend the draft capital is because he represents a wide receiver 1. It was different than the Addison argument.
Yes. What's funny is, we're doing the My Guy episode today, and spoiler, Travis Kelce is not one, but I do know he was on the somewhat short list for Andy. I kind of toyed with him. I think right now, before today, the idea that Travis Kelce gets off, the first 4, 6, 8 weeks, gets off to a hot start
Which older players, they're better at the front half of the year.
Yeah, so it made a lot of sense as a draft pick, but this news really hurts Travis Kelce as a draft pick for getting off to a hot start. I mean, obviously, we still expect Rashee Rice to miss time this year.
Yeah, so I was going to lay the rest of that out. By the way, 2015, my guy, Travis Kelce, was Mike's my guy in 2015.
That was a long
10 years
time
ago.
Seems like a good one, though.
But the situation now is that Rashee Rice is going to probably play the first 4 weeks, have this hearing. We don't know whether it will be an immediate suspension. We think it probably will be at this point. That will be 2 to 8 games. You also now have a bye week, right? You've got week 10
bye week, yeah.
Bye week. So just to paint the worst picture here for your Rashee Rice gamble in the draft, it's you spend a pick on him. He plays 4 weeks. If he got suspended 8 weeks, which is in the realm of the outcome, they're expecting 2 to 8, then you miss another game with the bye. So you would not have him from 5 to 13. And then do you have the confidence coming back in a week 14, 15 that this guy that missed, they get into a groove on their offense. They have all these other players doing things. He's going to come back week 1 and dominate. That's a tough bet. Like, to me, this is worse than the scenario that was already bad.
I totally agree. You have to be in a holding pattern, which I guess we don't even have time to hold because you won't know. I still believe he can be a difference maker. There's a chance because we're all three of us expecting 6. Is that where we are?
That was my prediction.
I
think
still
Andy
was
went
at 8, but
you're still okay.
Yeah.
But it's there's a chance. I guess it's 4.
Yeah.
And if it's 4, then like the mock draft that happened with the 8th round in a 10-teamer, that's still perfectly fine. If it goes to 6 because of the bye week, now you're really inviting some chaos of just having to hold him on your bench and then really hoping he's ready to go.
He will be on your bench.
It's a tough situation.
Once the suspension happens without IR eligibility,
right?
Right? So
yes.
Instead of trying to hold in the beginning of the year when you don't need – there's no bye weeks, right, in the beginning of the year. So you maybe can get by with a player sitting there doing nothing. It's harder to have a roster spot filled up for those other weeks.
You can make that argument, but I don't see this as significantly worse. From a strategy standpoint, I prefer to draft players who get off to a hot start. I want players that, I want to start 4-0. It gives me more room to maneuver and make decisions and trades and waiver pickups that, allow me space and time to prepare for the playoffs. Now, obviously, if Rashee Rice gets into week 6 and then his suspension comes down for 8 weeks, okay, at that point you can maybe just drop him, but I like getting off to a hot start, and we don't know what the suspension is going to be. He's obviously got this meeting on September 30th. I don't know if there's a way to push it into the next year still or not.
It's still a possibility.
I do like the fact that it's okay, if I draft this guy,
you play him.
I can play him to start the year.
So
I did mention the tougher schedule to start the year on purpose. That is one of the things that I think is intimidating.
So whereabouts, Jay, are you okay taking him?
I'm okay taking him when he's basically not one of my starters.
So round 6 or 7?
Yeah, exactly. I would say round 7, I would pull the trigger still.
Also, I get the NFL. I'm sure everyone there is extremely busy. Multi-billion-dollar industry.
Right, yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, busy buying ESPN or whatever they're doing.
They can't squeeze this meeting in? What? How is it being planned this far in advance when they've known about the situation for when did it take place?
Why do you need this meeting? Did Addison have this meeting? Or did they just go?
I think
sure
they all
did.
get a chance to go share their side.
It does feel weird that it's the
maybe you
end
need
of
more
September.
time to gather information because his legal situation was so
Perhaps.
significant. I don't know, but that is the lay of the land as of today. What we know, and I'm sure we'll have updates for you. It makes it is a gamble. It's a huge gamble. There could be that I don't know what the odds are. Maybe it's a 10% chance it gets pushed to another year. I mean, you get surprised. You take him if you get Rashee Rice in the 6th, 7th, 8th round.
And he plays
the
year.
full season.
Yeah.
You just stole. So it's wild. Dan Campbell said Sam Laporta, he's going to miss a little bit of time. It's been rumored to be only a few days, though. Still expected for week 1.
Yeah, he said it was not serious.
Chris Godwin, at least the most recent report from Scott Reynolds said he would be shocked if he wasn't on the PUP to start the year.
Yeah, I mean, I expect he's going to miss the first month of the season and then come back slow.
I have a funny feeling we'll talk about him a little
maybe.
bit more later. Shedeur Sanders.
Is he a my guy?
Yeah, Rashee Rice, Chris Godwin, both my guys. Shedeur Sanders unlikely to play in the second preseason game with the oblique injury.
That's a bummer for him.
And then this is I don't know, Beckham's agent must have paid Tom Pelissero.
Wait,
he must have paid us. Why are we
I
we
don't
are
know why
choosing to put
no.
this in our show now?
I didn't know who tweeted it, and I was before you jumped. I'm like, oh, I'm going to guess this is Pelissero.
Oh, you were right. Yeah,
Of course it is.
He's reporting that Beckham has drawn interest from several teams and plans.
Tom's on the take.
Tom's on the take.
Tom,
This is a scratch my back, I'll scratch your sitch.
It really is for all of
sure.
his people.
The reason he gets some good scoops is because he's like, yeah, okay, I'll put this out for you.
Next week will be Beckham looks better than he's ever looked.
No one
all pro.
drawn
Pro
interest
Bowler.
from several teams is a flat out lie. Like there is if Odell Beckham Jr. signs a contract, I'll eat cold SpaghettiOs or whatever. You know, what do? You
SpaghettiOs and cottage cheese.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Oh,
I'll eat
it's
that
delicious,
during the show.
but it's not cold.
But the nice
that
thing
would be
is,
gross.
I don't have to do that because no one's signing Odell Beckham Jr. in the year
Oh, yeah,
2025.
look, I'm not going that far.
Yeah,
I think
I bet
he
he
probably
gets a-
finds a team, but I don't think a bunch of teams are interested, and I don't think
Yeah.
it's going to be a good deal, and I don't think he's going to do anything. But you can eat your humble pie or whatever it is.
SpaghettiOs.
That was new. He's like, please sign with the team.
I'm really. I've been on a health kick. I haven't had SpaghettiOs in a while. I would really like
No,
Odell
come on.
Beckham.
This isn't real. Oh,
No,
okay.
that's.
All right.
What are you trying to
I
do
don't
back
know
there,
what
Matt?
you're doing.
I was going to hit the breaking news button. You buffoon!
He's trying to.
You're trying to give us fake information during
Oh,
a
man.
recording?
just.
We got
Good
like a
Lord.
Slack update that he's coming to Baltimore, but it was just him signing last year. Thanks for nothing, Matt. All right, that was News and Notes, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states or situations. Coverage subject to policy terms, limits, and conditions. It is time for my guys.
Nothing you can take can tear me away from my God.
I was told we were redoing the video drop for my guys this year.
I
mean,
canceled it.
We should have.
Did you cancel it, Mike?
No, that's retro now, guys. It's cool.
It's one of the worst things that I've ever seen.
Horrific. That's just like this episode is too
It's
important.
fantastic.
It's
the
a
people
horror
love it.
movie.
Too big for that kind of. Those lips. That's disgusting.
That was our prime animator. We paid him $0.
I do have an update, as I see one person did get my 3, and I haven't scoured Jason's entire one, but at least one person got Jason's.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic.
Well,
we will send you a swag pack.
do we? Do you guys want to go first? Do you want me to go first? What do you want to do here? Are you eager?
You're up. You're up.
I'm
host.
up. Well, let's get this one out of the way.
Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams is my guy for 2025. I alluded to the fact very early in the offseason that if his draft cost does not rise significantly, that he was most likely going to be here. Jameson Williams is currently going in the late 5th round on Sleeper, the late 7th round on ESPN. This was the wide receiver 19 last year. He's being drafted at the wide receiver 27. My guy is always around, the story of a my guy is draft cost, upside, potential. Last year, over 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. He gets the end arounds. He gets the rushing opportunity. He was one of 9 players in the last decade with 1,000+ receiving yards on fewer than 100 targets. But what I love about the offseason buzz, the vibes, all of the conversations around their offense, he's taking those next steps. He is a true top 12 potential type of wide receiver with the physical gifts, skills, and abilities that he has. He is moved all over the field and yet is a full-time guy. He was the primary X receiver in 2 wide, the Z in 3 wide, and then he lined up in the slot 36% of the time. He runs super high value routes. It's the explosive play type of situation with him, posts, go routes, crossers. He was, on those routes in particular, he's targeted more than Chase, more than Jefferson, and he's got those kind of skills and abilities He's the 80-yard touchdown guy. He's the guy that can go out there and do major, major damage and play action. And unlike previous off seasons, the drumbeat right now is so positive around Jameson Williams.
Yes.
And so a true breakout for him, it's very clear that you can go from wide receiver 19. You get those target totals up. You get more of those opportunities. He's a threat for double-digit touchdowns. I think those are all within the realm of outcomes. And you've got comments this offseason. I'll just give you some of that fluff because that's what my guys, we're going to bring some of that up. John Morton, their offensive coordinator, talks about Jameson Williams. He has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. In the meetings, the attention to detail. Excited to have him out there. It's going to be a breakout year for him. Previous years, it's like he's got a long way to go. He's got to figure a lot of things out. Dan Campbell was always equivocating.
Mm-hmm.
We always had doubts. Like if you look
we used to make fun of the, we talk about negative news is more important than positive news this time of year, and we would always bring up the comments like, this does not seem good for Jameson Williams, and it's completely 180 now.
Yeah, no, it's been very, very positive. And when you really look at this, like, you still haven't seen a full season out of him. That was a wide receiver 18 finish in half point in 15 games last year. He played 12 the year before. He played 6 as a rookie. You haven't gotten the whole picture of Jameson Williams yet. I don't know if that's why he is discounted right now. I don't know if the perception of Jameson Williams is just wide receiver 2-3. Like that's all you can think about, or like it's going to be a very hit and miss. And I think you've got the opportunity this year to take it to the next level. So, to me, that makes him a my guy. He's in that perfect range. A couple years ago, Evans was going much later. Finally, he was starting with Baker. You hadn't seen that together yet. I'm just very confident about Jameson Williams, and the cost has not gone up.
All right. Well, are you in, Mike, on Jameson Williams?
Oh, I thought you were saying
no.
am I up? Yeah, I'm very in on Jameson Williams. The breakout came at the right time in his career to keep his draft costs down. Like had he done this a year ago, I think we are not talking about him going anywhere close to where he is going in ADP. So there's still, I can still see a path where it doesn't work, because the offense is there. Even the other morning I was reading, I think it was a quote from Amon-Ra St. Brown saying like, yeah, the offense isn't firing like it had been in past training camps. So like if we change it a little bit, it could not work out. But ADP wise for his upside, it's tremendous.
That is the one thing. Like when I look at Jameson Williams, I don't know if I'm as bullish on the full breakout happening. He certainly has the skill set to do it. He has the offense to do it. The path is there. But when he's being drafted as the wide receiver 29, it makes no sense to me. Like it really doesn't. Like he finishes a top 20 wide receiver last year with missed games, and now he's being drafted way below.
Well,
that.
and the biggest challenge for me actually is how much do I overspend on Jameson Williams?
Oh,
yeah.
We've seen that.
Because
We've done mock drafts.
Because the further you
the
get,
answer's too much.
There was one. There was a third round one time. But the further you get in the draft, the more you can make that choice, right? And the more that the ADP is variable, and somebody might take a shot. And luckily, when I do my real draft, I won't be announcing all of my ambitions and picks in front of the entire staff like we did on the show yesterday. But like I am definitely willing to go up around and take that shot because I want the potential of Jameson Williams.
All right, I'll go next. I'm going to go with the player that I think is potentially and probably the best single value in all of fantasy football. That's my man,
George Kittle.
Yeah.
Georgie Porgy Puddin' and Pie, tight end, San Francisco 49ers, maybe the best tight end in the league right now. George Kittle's the man. Okay, first of all, smelling salts, they're back, baby. They were outlawed for about a minute. George Kittle called up the office and said, I'm retiring. They're like, you can have your smelling salts. Second, he just signed a 4-year, $76 million extension. He's the highest paid tight end in the NFL. So if you're worried about the age, stop. That's dumb. The camp reports are glowing. Here's from ESPN's Nick Wagner. Kittle and Purdy have been in sync all camp and continue with the deep ball Tuesday. Maybe it goes without saying, but we'll say it anyways. Kittle has had a tremendous camp. There are zero signs of a drop-off, and he looks every bit the guy who was the best all-around tight end in football in 2024.
I sent you that quote, and I know the first thing you thought when I sent you that quote was it was going to be something bad about George Kittle getting hurt because San Francisco has not avoided the injuries, but
they haven't.
He is fine, he is well, and he'll benefit from all those injuries.
So here's the thing in 2025. Tight end strategy is very similar to how it's been pretty much the last decade. Either go early on a tight end stud or go late. Okay, so the earlies are Bowers, Trey McBride, and Kittle. Well, if you go early with Bowers, who I love, he's awesome, you do not get Drake London or Jonathan Taylor or Bucky Irving or Josh Jacobs. Those are really impactful fantasy assets. If you go early with Trey McBride, you get no Chase Brown. You get no T. Meat Higgins. You get no Kyron Williams. You're sacrificing real studs. Now, if you go early with Kittle, you're missing out on Breece Hall or Terry McLaurin or Alvin Kamara.
Oh, I want to miss out on Breece Hall.
If I compare those options between, I got to take one of these 3 stud tight ends, I'm fine missing out on Breece Hall or Terry McLaurin or Alvin Kamara and getting Chase Brown and Drake London. Like, that sounds like the path. Kittle is too cheap compared to the other elite options, in my opinion. Literally, in the UDK, he's in a tier of his own.
He's not moved.
Well,
much.
When I put him on the board, he's been like an all-year guy.
Did he move?
He was in the 5th.
Okay.
Now, if you look at his ADP, he's a late
he
third
may have
round,
to play quarterback
sometimes
soon
fourth
with
round
the injuries.
Sometimes 4th round pick. But he's great. Here is, I think, the most telling stat. Because you say, well, okay, you sacrifice less to get Kittle than the other 2 guys, but can he be as good as those other 2 guys? He's older. Those other 2 guys are alphas. Over the last 3 seasons, we have, a lot of times we're like, oh, look at this 8-game sample. Look at this 6-game, extrapolated to a 17-game pace. We have 38 games in the last 3 seasons where Brock Purdy has played with George Kittle in full games. 8 without, 38 together. In 38 games, he averages 12.67 half PPR points. Now, if you don't know how that is, how good is that? Last year, the number 1 tight end did not score 12.67 fantasy points. He scored 12.2. That was Brock Bowers. The year prior,
number 1 good?
It's number 1 good. The year prior, Sam Laporta scored 11.5 fantasy points per game in 38 games together. Yeah. And so what's crazy is it used to be George Kittle, this amazing yardage guy, such a great yards after catch, not a red zone guy, not a touchdown guy. But he's completely morphed into a red zone monster. I mean, he's targeted 33% of his routes inside the 20. That's number 1 for all tight ends.
33.
Sir, have some respect.
I just drafted Chase Brown again.
There is a sanctity of numbers
sorry.
and singing.
It's one of those days.
But he has 18.
Tomorrow it's 44. What are we
really?
up to? For you?
Yeah, probably. 18 red zone receptions. That was 4th among all pass catchers. And if you just look at the situations, final thing I'll say here, between the top 3, which I love grabbing one of the top 3, and Kittle's the one I prefer. Bowers last year dealt with no one else to target. You had Jacoby Myers. I mean, the 4th highest target last year on the Raiders.
No running game.
Yeah.
And no running game in Las Vegas.
Well, and no one to throw the ball to. But the 4th highest target on the Raiders last year was Alexander Madison.
Nice.
Yeah. Trey McBride, and obviously this year they spent their 2nd round pick and their 4th round pick on Jack Besh and Deontay Thornton. So they've got other people to target to. McBride last year was the clear number 1 target, way more targeted than Marvin Harrison. As a Cardinals fan, I would assume we all hope that Marvin Harrison's the number 1 target in this offense. Like, he develops into the number 1. Not that that'll make McBride bad, but like, he should be. He's the number 4 pick overall. With Kittle, he's got to deal with Deebo Samuel. Oh, no. Debo's gone.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Ayuk's there.
Brandon Ayuk. Oh, wait, no, he's injured.
Pop.
That's right. I mean, we do love Jennings. Oh, wait, no, Jennings is currently injured. Okay. But Pearsall, just back from injury. Maybe year 2 is better. I mean, Jacob Cowing is there. No, he's injured. Jordan Watkins is there. He's injured. DeMarcus Robinson, he's suspended. Like, George Kittle is so needed. He is a value. He is a stud. Don't overthink it. Draft George Kittle.
Yeah, right now, as of today, Bowers 204, McBride 302, Kittle 402.
Yeah,
so you get the best
value
player
is Kittle,
and you don't sacrifice those upper echelon talents. It makes sense. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back with Mike's first My Guy. All right, Mike, what do you got for us? It's 2025. It's not going to be Kelsey, I guess.
No, it will not be Travis Kelce for me, but trying to figure out what order I wanted to go in, but Jason kept saying this guy's name, so we'll start there.
Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Oh,
baby.
man.
Yeah,
I would
baby.
draft him in any draft.
Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals. I am madly in love with the situation, and he has consistently been in the third round. He currently still is there on Sleeper, Yahoo, ESPN. He's looking like a mega value almost going into the fourth round. But here is my case for Chase Brown. Last year, the Bengals, the situation, we know it's good for running backs. We're not sure who it's going to be. The team started off with Zach Moss, and it wasn't working that great, and then Zach Moss gets injured. Chase Brown takes the job and becomes an absolute fantasy superstar, winning people leagues. He finished as the RB11, but from week 9 on, he was the running back 5 in fantasy. In the final 8-game run, he was on pace for 414 total opportunities. Like, he was a true workhorse, and not just on the ground. As a receiver, 54 for 360 yards and 4 receiving touchdowns. That run I was talking about, week 9 on, the most routes among all running backs, the second most receptions, the third most running back yards in that time. And when they get in close to the goal line, like the Bengals throw. They're like, hey, Joe Burrow is the captain of this team. Let's open it up and let's let Burrow keep throwing. So they end up throwing the ball to everybody, including Chase Brown. Checking out offensive coordinator Dan Pitcher earlier this summer. Chase Brown is going to, by the end of the season, be a household name. He is everything Austin Eckler was. You all know who he is. Talking about Austin Eckler. And honestly, to throw out the Austin Eckler comp is perfection. Chase Brown was a day 3 guy. Eckler was undrafted, but essentially a player who had to truly work his way up and become the focal point of the running back position for a team. And if you're out there saying, well, it's a one-year thing here for Chase Brown, and I'm saying absolutely it is not going to be that. The depth chart, they took Taj Brooks in the third round, and they got Samaje Perine. Yeah, of course, Perine's going to get some veteran snaps.
The third day, not the third round.
Or yes, did I say third round?
Yeah, Taj Brooks was
Taj Brooks was a day 3 pick. Samaje Perine he'll be in there. But he was in there when Joe Mixon was there.
It's difficult, and one of the reasons why I think all of us are very enthusiastic about Chase Brown and have been. It's really hard to make the case of how it goes poorly for him this season. That's one of the things. Like, there's not a really good, nothing in the offseason, nothing in the training camp, nothing in the draft room, nothing in the depth chart, nothing in the offense. It's all positive.
Yes.
It's just, for fantasy players, not quite the pedigree or years of history to drive him up into a place where, like, eventually, look, Eckler was very similar.
Yeah, it took time.
Eckler did not get anointed a top 5 draft pick to start. It was a committee year with Melvin Gordon, and then it became, he can do more, and then it's like, do I trust just the passing down back with Eckler? And like, It took a lot of level ups.
Yes, and it did. And so we can look at, it's not apples to apples, of course, because these guys came from all different places in terms of draft pedigree, but it's looking at running backs over the last decade who hit 15 or more PPR points per game in year 2, like Chase Brown did. The list is incredible. It's 18 running backs in the sample, and 12 of them maintained the 15 or more points per game. So it's just like we're talking McCaffrey, Zeke, Melvin Gordon, Kamara, Chubb, Kyron, James Conner, Joe Mixon, Johnny Taylor. It is a list of hits, and then there's a couple misses in here, Travis Etienne, but the point is, historically, this profile, especially pass catchers, it's turned into fantasy success, and the downside is not it's not in the ADP. He's not going in the second round, which I'm okay taking him in the second round. Like, I would be perfectly happy starting with a wide receiver, and Chase Brown is my RB1. That's what my confidence
I would totally take him in the second round. I would totally be willing.
We saw it already. I mean,
yeah,
we lived
seen
it.
the evidence.
We lived it last year when he was the running back 5 once he got the job. And I remember watching film as the Breece Hall manager and being so upset. We're sitting watching games on one Sunday, and every time Chase Brown touched the ball, it's like, because at that point, it was early on, it was like, Chase Brown's a schlub. Chase Brown is a backup thrust into the starting role. And then I was like, every time Chase Brown touches the ball, he looks special. When Breece Hall touches the ball, he doesn't. And then it turned out, I think Chase Brown's special. Like,
he's better.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Chase Brown, in terms of the explosive athletic metric, he's a 96th percentile guy. Like, this is a true athlete who he fell in the draft, and it took him some time to establish, and he has established.
All right, so Jameson Williams, George Kittle, Chase Brown, the first 3 my guys. My second my guy.
Amarion Hampton.
All right, it is
baby,
it is time for the rookie to take over. Talent, opportunity, the landing spot,
I
the
can't
draft
believe
capital.
how it is just shaken out for him with the Najee stuff.
I mean, this was
wild.
a player that we did not know exactly where he'd go in the draft. On our film review of collegiate running backs, he was Jason and I's #1 talent. To me,
Well, number 2. Ashton Jeanty doesn't count as a rookie.
Golly,
but yes.
I always forget.
I know,
Ashton
he's
Jeanty.
deleted out of rookies, but yes.
He's just like, yes,
of
he got
the
deleted.
rest, he was by far both of our favorites.
You got it. And to me, when you looked at the college film, this was some college running backs, they've got a ways to go to get to that NFL level of consistency. To me, that's what you saw in film. True 3-down back, great pass protector, and the word that kept coming to mind when I watched film on him and from the college performances, smooth. He's just a smooth runner. He's smooth. It reminded me a little bit of like the way that Arian Foster. It was very smooth in terms of reading blocks,
Not herky-jerky.
making the right decisions.
No Pacheco
He's
in
smooth.
him.
Oh,
no Pacheco, no Kenneth Walker.
Ground give me
side to
power.
side. But he's a tackle breaker. He's in the 100th percentile in yards after contact among all running back
100th?
Yeah.
prospects. That's
Lord.
called the best of the best. In all, we haven't heard 100th before.
Never heard
I honestly saying it out loud made me feel like I was like lying. Like
So-
you can't.
100th. So you could just say, like, you're the best.
Yeah, that's
I think
another
that's what I could have
That's how
said.
we usually say it.
Percentile.
We got to start using that more. Anytime someone is
101st
leading in
percentile.
anything, he's 100th percentile in yards so far this year.
Yeah, it's correct. I mean, he's in the 100th percentile technically. Yards after contact among the RB prospects.
He's 1 out of all.
He's 1 out of all. Look,
I like that so much.
the draft cost is inevitably rising. Najee Harris, it's been slow going, getting back from the injury, and we don't know if he's there week 1. We don't know if he's there week 3. Regardless, you're not keeping Amarian Hampton off the field. This is going to be one of the stalwarts of your fantasy football championship run. He is one of only 4 ACC players in history with 1,500-plus rushing yards and 15 touchdowns in back-to-back collegiate seasons. Lamar Jackson, Dalvin Cook, Amarian Hampton, and Travis Etienne. Those are the only 4 to ever do it. So, yes, the cost is rising, but I don't care. You got to get him on your team, and it's not the cost. I mean, look
It's
at
never going to rise like Jeanty.
I was going to say, look at the contrast from Jeanty to Hampton.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that it's a guarantee that Jeanty has a better season? He does not check every box that we talked about the other day. The team
Hampton does.
Hampton does in terms of offensive line, winning team, workload. I do not have fear of Najee Harris. He can be a compliment.
Do you want to know what it reminds me of so much? And I think when I say this, everyone will be like, oh my gosh, it's totally the same thing.
I don't know about that.
Well, we'll see. Here's what I'm going to say. Amarian Hampton is to Ashton Jeanty what Malik Neighbors was to Marvin Harrison Jr. This was the clear, awesome, great prospect.
I'll allow it.
Yeah,
Pretty
that
good.
works.
He is a clear, great prospect. Everyone knew Malik Neighbors was the dude,
Yeah.
but he wasn't Marvin Harrison Jr. He wasn't the generational
or what
prospect.
Brian Thomas was to Malik Neighbors.
Right, and so
I mean,
but it was still cost a lot to get Malik Neighbors, but not nearly as much as it cost to get Marvin Harrison. And to me, he's the right one to target.
And Khalil Mack, this is a good quote because it's not just the offensive coordinator. I can give you some Greg Roman quotes about how much they think of Amari Hampton, and you know it by what they did in the draft. That was a shocker. They spend it on Amari Hampton. They could have taken some other. They could have taken Travion, Mike's favorite guy. But Khalil Mack,
no one's perfect.
Right? No, you make mistakes. But no, Khalil Mack on playing against Amari Hampton in practice. I don't want to say how he's impressed me, but I can tell you, if you play football, then you know it's going to be fun to watch him play. And they talk about how good he is at finding. Like the hardest thing for a rookie running back is to take what's given to you. A lot of them want to make the big plays that they made their entire life in high school and in college. And Reggie Bush was kind of a victim of this when he came to the NFL. He was great in the passing game, but in the running game, he was so used to hitting home runs for the last 20 years of his life.
Right.
Amari Hampton is a pro's pro at running back. He is a guarantee to give you, like his floor is so high, but his ceiling is so high. And it kind of goes with the mystery bag tip from yesterday. It's like you get this rookie that really could be in the Ashton Jeanty category, but without the Ashton Jeanty price. So for me, my guy, Amari Hampton.
Nice.
I'm in. We've been kind of bringing this up the last couple of weeks of like we're at the point where you just have to push all your chips in on Hampton. The ADP is that of like the community hasn't. So I think this is an area of the draft that you can exploit and get an edge. And it's like
right now,
J.K.
he's
Dobbins
still 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, he might jump into the 3rd.
Yeah, and that's
you
fine.
know what? That is okay.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Like you need to readjust how you. If you've been with us the whole offseason, you have to readjust how you're thinking about Hampton.
Yes.
He's the week 1 starter. It's no longer how many weeks does it take until he takes over. He takes over now, and Najee will be the backup for the season. J.K. Dobbins had nearly 200 attempts and over 900 yards, and he missed 4 games. And he has one strong leg.
Right.
Yeah, as far as I know, Hampton has at least 2.
I've seen both legs. They're very good. J.K. Dobbins has like a stick leg and a beefy leg. Amari Hampton, he's got them quads.
Yeah.
Jason, you've got more my guys to share.
I sure do, and I'm very excited about this next one. Let's kick it off with
George Pickens.
Yeah, baby.
George.
I had to pry George Pickens from Mike's cold dead hands.
Yeah, we did a jersey swap.
We did a jersey swap situation.
He's been on the My Guy board for months.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was going to be Mike's or mine. I get him. George Pickens is
I win.
George Pickens is a wide receiver value that I think is completely mispriced. The talent, the perfect marriage of his skill set with the team needs and Dak Prescott's skill set is going to surprise people. Yeah, I mean, if you've been watching any of the camp videos, there's nonstop. Like, just go to X and search George Pickens. You search any player and you're going to see a touchdown from camp. But if you search George Pickens, you're going to see 12 touchdowns from camp. They're all different videos. He is all over the place.
Right.
He is a deep threat that matches Dak Prescott. And what are you going to do as a defense? Are you going to really focus on George Pickens? No, you're not going to focus. That's like, are you going to focus on T. Higgins? If you're playing against the Bengals,
you don't have the option.
You don't have the option because there's got Jamar Chase over there. So T. Higgins out there doing his thing in one-on-one coverage against your second best at best defender, if not your third best. And that's what is going to happen for George Pickens, except George Pickens is going in the 6th round.
The hardest thing about George Pickens, the 6th round cost is very explainable. It's because it's 3 consecutive years of high expectations and not quite delivering.
Yes.
Like the talent of George Pickens has never been questioned. The output has always been like, what's going on?
Yep. And then you've got Steelers leaving the Steelers. When wide receivers leave the Steelers, they go to die.
Right.
There's that
happened.
argument. But that's really not fair because if you go on a case by case, like Antonio Brown was still good when he left. He just ended up taking his shirt off and leaving in the middle of the season.
With Pickens, it does feel like you stole him from Mike. But, did you get, a lit stick of dynamite?
I sure did, and I'm going to toss it right over there against my opponent.
Yeah, there you go.
And it's going to go blah, blah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You're Najee Harris. Okay, so.
Oh, no.
You can't stop me. I'll say what I want.
Oh, no.
Here's the thing. What you were just saying, the story with George Pickens has always been potential, right? Potential. Look, I'm opening
sorry.
I'm opening eyes here.
It's my guys. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You can't stop us.
All right. The potential for George Pickens, he is a contested catch, awesome deep threat. You know, look, in NFL history, there's only 2 wide receivers who, before turning 24, had 2,800 receiving yards while being a 16-plus yards per reception player. There's George Pickens and some dude named Randy Moss. He has that potential. The problem is Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky.
Those are big problems.
Russell Wilson, Justin Fields. And you might say, oh, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, he had at least a decent chance. No, they were worse than those other names.
Those are names that come up in his therapy sessions.
Yeah, here is Pickens' rank among wide receivers in catchable target percentage. So not his fault. Just like, could you have caught this pass headed your direction? His rookie year, 25th. Okay, that's not too bad. His sophomore year, 61st in catchable percentage. And then last year with his best quarterbacks ever, 71st. He was 71st in catchable target rate. So, like, he didn't have the option to go be great because the passes weren't catchable. Over that span, Dak Prescott is 7th in pass success rate, 6th in completion percentage, 8th in passer rating. And here's a great stat from Warren Sharp. I think this really highlights what I love the most about this fit and finish with George Pickens as a Cowboy. The last 2 years, number 1 in passing yards on 15-plus yard go routes is Dak Prescott.
Love it.
Dak Prescott, number 2 in most attempts on 15-plus yard go routes. Love it. George Pickens, over the same 2 years, number 1 in most receiving yards on 15-plus yard go routes. Number 2 in most catches on 15-plus yard go routes. This is a match made in heaven.
It reminds me a little of the Baker-Evans match. Because Baker was always a great downfield thrower, and he found his guy, and now Dak has a trustworthy downfield
And if you
receiver.
look where they are used on the field, they are CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. It's an exact inverse. Like, CeeDee dominates the middle of the field, the line of scrimmage and the crossers. Pickens is going to be the boundary and the deep end zone guy.
Do you think you can get consistency in fantasy from Pickens in light of, like, I'm sure some of the uncatchable target can be attributed to the fact he is a downfield guy.
Yes, absolutely. I don't ever expect George Pickens to walk away being the number 1 in
consistency.
In consistency, but you're going to have monster games. And
where's he going right now?
Right now he is the wide receiver 29, so he's not even being drafted as a wide receiver 2. He's in the 6th or 7th round, depending on your platform. And here's my final takeaway is I just want to remind people, Andy, a long time ago you used to bring up you had a problem drafting wide receiver 2s for their team. Like you would draft a bad wide receiver 1 for a bad offense over a great wide receiver 2 on a great offense, and you realize that was a mistake. And here's a stat that proves that. In the last 10 years, 10 sets of teammates have both finished as wide receiver 1s. And we've seen an average of 4 sets of teammates per year since 2010 that are both at the same time top 24 wide receivers. This is an offense that can't run the ball. Please, Micah Parsons, don't be a Cowboy. Be a bad defense. Throw the ball a ton, and you can't cover George Pickens when you've got CeeDee Lamb on the field. So I believe he is mispriced, monster games. He, to me, is a lock as a top 24 wide receiver, and I think there's a world that exists where he is a top 12 wide receiver. Brandon Cooks was a touchdown machine a couple years ago when he was 30 years old.
I was going to bring it up for you. The Cowboys year when they went into the bye week, the schedule, the gates opened to the heavens, and CeeDee Lamb and Dak went on the run of winning people championships. But in that time, from weeks 8 through 18, Brandon Cooks had 7 touchdowns. He had, in that, this is an old Brandon Cooks. He had 6 games, if I'm counting right real quick, in that time period of double-digit fantasy points. And that was Brandon Cooks. That is not a...
Yeah, that was old, washed Brandon Cooks.
The peak of his career, George Pickens, and who... he's not met expectations, a lot of due to inconsistency. But it's like, maybe he's not a true number 1.
Right.
But maybe he's a 1B. Like, there's guys out there. Like, is T. Higgins truly a number 1? The question is, I think, still fair to ask. But he's a great 1B.
I would love a 6'3", super athletic, downfield contested guy who is 24 years old going into a contract year with a good offense.
It does make sense, and the draft price is very attractive. All right, we'll take one more break, and we'll come back with our last 4 My Guys. All right, Mike, we took a little break in case you wanted to completely pivot to somebody else. It's your last shot.
Right.
Are you good?
The pivot will not be happening. Well, I will say a pivot did had to happen because oftentimes with these My Guys, I try to bring someone who I have been, steady and higher than ADP on, but I haven't been talking about them ad nauseum over the offseason. And this player was on the Ice and Fire show because he wasn't going to be in the My Guys part because everyone knows. But we got to the point where it's just I can't resist. I can't stop it.
Travian Henderson.
Oh boy.
Travo Henderson, as I call him, the demon. He is an absolute speed demon. Like, just start with the athleticism. 95th percentile explosive score. You see that in all the camp highlights. If you saw the wheel route, yes, that the Minnesota Vikings misplayed, but that's the point of he's so fast. It is easy to misplay him in the receiving game. He's a second-round rookie. And you might start at the point of, okay, well, what if we have Curmudgeon, Vrabel, the rookies, they got to earn it. What's the best way for a rookie running back to be able to earn playing time?
Pass protection.
How about pass protection? He is an unreal pass blocker. Henderson graded out as the best pass protector of the class at the running back position. Ball control. The dude does not fumble. The incumbent starter,
he has fumbled.
He has a massive fumbling problem. He has been benched.
Ramondre?
We're talking about Ramondre
What?
Stevenson has been benched multiple times in his career for having a fumbling problem.
The only reason that he got back on the field was because his backup, Antonio Gibson,
also,
fumbled more than
also
he
has
did.
a fumbling problem. And look, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter because like I said, the Ice and Fire show, if you want to go back, was that this Monday?
Yeah.
Who knows what
could
day
have
it
been.
is.
It was one of the days recently.
But I just laid it all out. But here, a quick summary. Rookie running backs taken in the first 6 rounds of redraft since 2011. 60% of them exceed their ADP expectations. And when you factor in rookies who saw 2.5 or more targets per game, which Henderson has a specialty as a pass catcher, that jumps to an 80% of those drafted running backs exceed their expectations. And it took Andy, I think, a little bit longer to get on board with Henderson, but we're all at the point of our stat projections where we got him at more than 210 opportunities. He is a player that we checks more boxes than we realize, because of the projected win total for the Patriots is much higher than the average Joe would expect, seeing what they did last year. This is a team that is on the rise, and Henderson is going to be a massive part of it. His ADP is going to keep going up. We're currently looking at the 6th round. He will not be there. He probably jumps into the 4th, and I have no problem with it.
I didn't even know you liked him. All right, my final My Guy. We're going back to this well. It's worked out very good in fantasy football for a couple of years, but that's not the reason why you believe is because it's happened before. The reason is the player himself and the talent he possesses. The third My Guy.
Tyler Warren.
Tyler Warren, the tight end for the Indianapolis Colts, currently going in the 9th round on Sleeper, much later on Yahoo and ESPN. This was pick 14 of the NFL draft. Yes, Laporta. Yes, Brock Bowers. It's been a good run. We're going to continue the run, and that's all built upon the true talent and ability on display from Tyler Warren. You can talk about Richardson or Daniel Jones all you want. Just like we talked about Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell. And
Mustache.
but
Farva.
let's just throw out the ambiguity at quarterback. Let's throw out the ambiguity at wide receiver. I mean, we love Josh Downs, the talent, but I think we'd all agree Josh Downs is not built like Jamar Chase. He's not built like Tyrone McMillan.
No, he's a svelte, smaller guy.
He's got a role on the offense. Pittman, he's a good player. He's not a great player. He has a role on the offense. They spent the draft capital on Tyler Warren. You saw it on display in the first preseason game, the type of routes that he ran. 3 targets, 3 receptions with the starters, never left the field with the starters. had a hitch route, sat down in the middle of the zone, had a deep out for a first down, saw the yards after the catch on display looking like Trey McBride out there, had a play-action crosser for another big play. The talent of Tyler Warren, I don't think people understand. Like you look at Brock Bowers and what a dominator he was in college. He's not far behind. Tyler Warren he had more receiving yards versus man coverage than any other receiver in college football last year. That's what Tyler Warren was capable of. They even used him in like some wildcat formations. He is an athlete. His per route metrics were incredible. He had a higher targets per route run than Brock Bowers. He had a higher yards per route run than Brock Bowers.
That's wild.
This is and Brock Bowers was what? Was he 13th?
Yeah. He's
So look,
in the mid-teens.
same range. And going to a very similar situation where you desperately need a culture-changing receiver, a mismatch. I gave you the numbers against man coverage. He's going to be that mismatch on every single play. And when you're betting on a receiving option, look, you get the ball in Indianapolis. We don't know what this team's going to do, but I don't think that we look at them as this is not a supreme defense. They're going to need to throw the football. Daniel Jones or Richardson, either of those quarterbacks knows we've got to get the ball to this guy with the huge catch radius, with the after-the-catch ability. And here we are again, the rookie tight end. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's a 9th-round pick. We're drafting a bunch of other guys that we know a lot about. You want the most compelling argument against Evan Ingram is Tyler Warren in terms of the draft cost, because
him and Loveland.
Yeah, they represent so much more upside. I think the floor is great for Tyler Warren. I think you can take him and start him, and even if he doesn't give you a Bowers year, you're still happy you took him in terms of consistency at the position. He's got, a natural feel for the game of football that I think is just impressing me more and is free. So that's part of the my guy equation. Take these players that have so much tremendous upside, get them late, throw them on the team, and suddenly everybody wants them in like 3 or 4 weeks. There's not a person out there, not a soul that will trade Brock Bowers right now. If you're in a dynasty or keeper league, you cannot get that player. And we've got a new generation of tight ends on the way, and they're going to be the perennial all-stars. And I think Tyler Warren is that guy. He's got that dog in him.
Oh, I was going to start my argument with it. Like, certified dog, watch his college tape, and I am, we're in year 11 of this show, so we've seen a lot of trends come and go, a lot of shifts in ADP of where guys are going. It's pretty surprising to me that we've had 2 years in a row that a rookie tight end has finished at the number 1 spot, and these two guys of Loveland and Warren, both with the draft capital, both with teams where like Warren goes into he could get that Brock Bowers target share, and then Colston Loveland, while he doesn't project as the number 1, he goes to an offensive situation that should be very plus. And these guys are going late. Like the fact that drafters didn't react to it is surprising to me.
It shows the overpowering effect of team vibes, because Detroit was awful before Laporta got there. Their offense was not special, and the Raiders terrible. No idea what's going on at quarterback. And I think that's
still were terrible on offense.
Right? No,
Bowers.
they were terrible, and that's like Bowers could be very, very good, but then you look at Tyler Warren, and the question marks, they all surround the other positions on the field. It's just a great ADP bet.
All right, I'm doing another rookie ADP bet, because if you want to say a player is mispriced, there is a first-round NFL draft pick at wide receiver who is on a great offense where the role is pretty much already established from week 1 as an on-the-field 100% type of player, and he's being drafted in the double digits, like 10th round?
Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, baby. This is a guy, pre-NFL draft, I was in love with. I think he is the best wide receiver of this draft class, personally. That doesn't necessarily mean he has the highest fantasy ceiling, but he is.
But he might.
He very well could. I mean, he profiles kind of like a Chris Godwin, right? Like, he is a really just solid route runner, great hands, good athleticism. He's going to have the boundary work. He's just like a kind of a perfect actual NFL wide receiver. And how did Chris Godwin do last year?
There's not a guarantee that people know who he plays for.
So Emeka Egbuka,
Listening to this show, that's how
Yes.
double-digit rounds he is.
yes, right now on ESPN, he's at the back of the 11th round. If you're on ESPN, goodness gracious, 10th round comes, just pull the trigger on Emeka Egbuka, rookie wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Chris Godwin last year in the first 7 weeks was the wide receiver 2 for this team, for this offense with Baker Mayfield. And Godwin, we just talked about on the news today, he's not there week 1. He's probably going to start on the pup. If he misses
Pup is 4 games minimum, by the
4
way.
minimum, if he comes back in week 7, that makes sense. And I'm not worried about when he's back either. He'll start a little bit slow, but Egbuka will establish himself as such an important piece of this offense. Mike Evans will take a step back eventually. I think Mike Evans is a good pick this year, but this is an offense you want pieces of. And this is a double-digit first-round rookie. And if you're not familiar with Emeka Egbuka, because we talk a lot about the other 2 first-round wide receivers, and we haven't mentioned enough about Egbuka, he was a 5-star recruit going into Ohio State. He was ahead of, in the 2021 high school draft class, he was ahead of Brian Thomas Jr., ahead of Xavier Worthy, ahead of Malik Neighbors, ahead of Marvin Harrison. And then what did he go and do in college? Oh, he just, set the Ohio State record for receptions all time while playing next to Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave and Marvin Harrison and JSN. He's a stud. Like, he is a great wide receiver. If you listen to what is being said from Tampa Bay, everything is Egbuka. Everything is, he is a pro's pro. He's a great blocker. He knows every position. He knows the playbook perfectly. He's where you want him to be every time. There was Baker Mayfield was talking with the Kelsey brothers, and
Never heard of those
the
guys.
question came from Jason Kelsey. Baker, what are you looking forward to this year with Tampa Bay? That's the question. Completely open-ended. Like, what are you looking forward to? His answer? Emeka Egbuka is an absolute stud. He's a real deal. Like, he's not saying like what player, how are the rookies. He's just like, what are you excited about this year? He's like, dude, that dude's legit.
I've seen Todd Bowles. We know Todd Bowles. He's been out here in Arizona. He's been the defensive coordinator. He's been a head coach before. I've listened to him talk. This is not a guy that is flowery with his language. He is a kind of like one of those professional coaches, keeps it close to the vest. He had no problem just basically saying that Egbuka was the real deal in every regard. So I agree. I'm so excited for what he represents in fantasy and for this team and for Baker, right? Like you want Baker to have a solidified, set of wide receivers, and it feels like you just got this next generation guy as Godwin and Evans begin to, wind it down.
Yep.
So Egbuka, your final my guy.
My final my guy, double-digit round auto selection.
Yep, I love it. I am fully in on Egbuka too. And guess what? There is one more rookie wide receiver that I am all in as well.
Teteroa McMillan.
T-Mac.
T-Mac out of U of A. He plays for the Carolina Panthers. His ADP right now is about the back of the 5th on Sleeper. The other platforms are lagging. They are trying to catch up. So he's a rookie, so I can't talk about his production as a professional. Just I can talk about him as a prospect. Like I said, U of A. How did he do there? Well, year 2, over 1,400 yards. His final year, year 3, 84 for 1,300, 8 touchdowns. We're talking about a player with the most receiving yards in school history. Starting there, that's a great place to start. Then you talk about the comparables. Marvin Eloquin, he's one of our writers. He especially helps us out on the Dynasty Pass, which is available in the UDK Plus. But he has his own way of looking at players, and he's just comparing them. And for McMillan, when you factor in weight, because this is a big dude. McMillan profiles as a true number 1 and X receiver, 6'5", 212. So when you factor in size, draft capital, McMillan was an early declare. He didn't play his 4th year of college eligibility. The names that show up are shocking because it is DeAndre Hopkins, Drake London, and Julio Jones. This is exactly who you would like to be associated with if your goal is to be a good wide receiver in the NFL. Now talk about back to the production in college. You got to be able to play against zone. You got to be able to play against man. Well, the good news is against zone coverage, he was excellent. A 2.82 yards per route run when defenses are playing zone against him. Smart player, figuring out how to find the space and get it done. Man coverage, even better. And that's what I want out of my X wide receiver. I want a guy who can just bully a number one corner. We're talking 3.5 yards per route run. This is absolute ridiculous production for him. Then you look at where is he going in the draft? 5th round. Okay, Laporta, Jason's ice player from the Fire and Ice episode. Joe Mixon got a bum foot. David Montgomery, the backup running back on his own team. And then there's Tetairoa McMillan. He is sitting in the perfect place for his draft pedigree and who he can become. He's not pulling a Marv. He's not pulling a Malik Neighbors, who went in the 2nd and 3rd round or so last year in ADP. It's going in the back of the 5th round. There is very little risk for the upside that he could bring you.
I don't know if in the very, very beginning of draft season I believed he was an alpha. I definitely believe he's an alpha. And I don't think that everybody understands what I think is the gap between McMillan and the rest of their roster at wide receiver.
What?
Right.
I think – I'm sorry,
How
Adam.
dare you?
I'm sorry, Adam. I think it is a massive, massive gap between those. We're talking, Garrett Wilson and everybody else he's ever played with, not named Devontae Adams. We're talking, Terry McLaurin and everybody else he's ever played with in Washington. It's very obvious to me, even from the preseason, what we've seen so far, the plan. The plan is You're the driver of the offense. It's not any of these other guys. We'll hand the ball off to Leggett every once in a while. We'll give a crosser to Thielen. Coker, you can contribute in the red zone. I really, truly believe Tetairoa McMillan is their full plan on offense. And I think you'll see it sooner than later and regret not drafting him sooner than later.
Speaking of the plan, let's go to the team level. We got the Carolina Panthers, and I get it. There's a stink. There is a stench among the Carolina Panthers. They have been bad for years. But you have to look at where things are going. From week 12 on.
That's actually David Tepper is what you're smelling.
I recognize that smell anywhere.
Is a little Tepper in here?
It is bad. From Bryce Young, we all saw it. The beginning of last year, that you had the hope when the season opened, and you went, holy crap, Bryce Young is a catastrophic bust, a true team killer that they traded up for, and it's just a total disaster. Gets benched for Andy Dalton. Okay, Bryce Young eventually gets the opportunity back, and Bryce Young plays extremely well. From week 12 on, Carolina averaged 25 points per game. That's 12th in the NFL. That's a top half offense. They are on the way. And then
you are on Team Bryce Young.
I am, and it's a scary place to be. I will be honest about that. But the reason I kept saying an X receiver. Head coach Dave Canales funnels targets to the X receiver. 2 years ago in Tampa Bay, Mike Evans, monster season. Last year, before he worked his way off the team, remember when Deontay Johnson was having a resurgence? When Andy Dalton took over because we were getting competent quarterback player, all of a sudden Deontay Johnson is a weekly must-start guy because this is the offense that Canales runs. I do believe that's why Canales, when McMillan felt him, they were like, holy crap, this is incredible. Rush the card in. Go get him. Going in the 5th is sensational. Oh, and we'll have one last point. We love teams that have a high-powered offense and their defense stinks. Carolina's defense last year allowed 534 points, the most of all time.
Excuse me?
The 100th percentile.
I believe that's the 0th percentile.
Well, the 100th percentile in giving up the most points, and maybe they improve. But to go from the most points ever given up of all time to a good defense, that's going to take some time. So I love Tetairoa McMillan in the 5th. He is a very juicy upside pick.
He is a stud.
So my 3, Jameson Williams, Amarian Hampton, Tyler Warren. Jason?
I've got George Kittle, and Emeka Egbuka. That's right. It's just George.
It took me a second. You got 2 Georges.
I do.
He tried to find a third.
Yeah, but there's not a
Eddie
lot of
George? You want to go backwards?
I think you'll get 0 points.
It's got to be first names.
We got Chase Brown, we got Travion Henderson, and Tetairoa McMillan.
All right, there it is, everybody. The My Guys for 2025 breakouts, sleepers, bust, and value episodes coming next week. The UDK for Life giveaway is on Monday. Check out the Ultimate Draft Kit at ultimatedraftkit.com. And guess what? It's a lot more than a giveaway. You will also have the number one tool to help you dominate on draft day and set the foundation for your team. It is living, it is breathing, it is updated every single day. I made changes in the middle of this show.
Yeah, we make sure right up to kickoff that it is actually what we would do, what we believe, our tier-based rankings, all of our stuff. We're recording new player profile videos whenever news changes and breaks. It's a very good tool. I've never heard someone get it and regret it.
All right, that's ultimatedraftkit.com. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. For everybody here at the Fantasy Footballers, we appreciate it. And we'll be back next week. Stay tuned for a YouTube special tomorrow.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Fantasy Footballers Podcast. Join our fantasy football community on jointhefoot.com and follow us on Twitter @TheFFBallers.